Yes, it took off about 15 minutes or so ago. A Qatari Airways Airbus A320. We're tracking it at the moment. It's just flown past the Iranian city of Qom, and it's moving south and will land in the Qatari capital Doha within the next hour or so. And as you say, on board 5 Iranian Americans who have been held for various lengths of time. Simak Namazi held since 2015. With them are 2 relatives of 2 of those prisoners. Namazi's mother is on board the flight as well as Morad Tahbaz's wife. Those 2 individuals have been unable to leave. They have not been imprisoned themselves, but have not been allowed to travel out of Iran. They now can and are on board that flight, along with Qatar's ambassador to Iran. He is accompanying them as well. So a huge relief. We're expecting a statement, I think, from the American President, Joe Biden, as soon as they are safely out of Iranian airspace and in Qatar, and from there they will fly. We are told to the United States, to the Washington, D.C. area, but I imagine perhaps that that Morad Tahbaz may indeed fly to the UK. He is a dual national with the United Kingdom as well. Some of his family are here. So clarity on that, I suppose, soon. And in return, 5 Iranians who are either in custody, awaiting trial, or are already in jail in the United States. They have received clemency and will be released, or have been released. Details on that we haven't got at the moment.
OK, we'll keep an eye on whether Mr Tahbaz does end up coming back here. And Mark, this has all come about because of the unfreezing of some $6 billion, nearly £5 billion in Iranian assets. Talk to us about that and where that money first came from.
Yeah, the Americans are sort of advising against the word freezing or unfreezing. They say this money was never frozen. It was just relatively inaccessible to the Iranians in South Korea. It is Iranian money. It is oil revenue money that Iran had earned by selling oil over the past 5-6 years or so, during periods when they were able to, when sanctions allowed for them to. This oil was sold to the South Koreans. The money, though, was not available to the Iranians. That money, $6 billion worth, is now in the process of being moved out of South Korea using Swiss banks. It's going to be moved to Doha, to Qatar, where it will be available to the Iranians only for humanitarian purposes. That is what the Americans are saying. And I think in order to counter criticism that the Americans are being somehow naive, that the Iranians wouldn't use this for other means, the Americans point out that this money will never go back to Iran. It will stay in Doha banks, and when the Iranians decide they want to use it to purchase humanitarian equipment or medical equipment, then the money can be used for that, and whatever they buy with it, that can be transferred to Iran. But the Americans are pretty defensive about any suggestion that the Iranians will use this however they want to. The money will remain in Doha, we're told, and can only be used for humanitarian purposes. Nevertheless, Kamali, clearly there are many that believe that this will just only embolden Iran, because they will feel that it is worth taking political prisoners, because they're able to get something back in return for it.